What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in JPTV. It's back at you once more, and as you see, I'm at the office right now. Well, I'm in someone else's office. I'll let you know who that is in a second. Okay, yeah, Dr. Reza in the building, baby. The number one
And
celebrity
sir,
chiropractor in
sir,
the DMV and Atlanta, baby.
we're ready.
Yes,
What's
indeed.
going on,
Thank you for
man?
coming. Really appreciate the
Course.
time, man. I know you're a busy guy. Really appreciate the time.
Problem.
Um,
Absolutely, anything to help.
hey man, thank you,
Yes,
Dr.
we're
Reza in
ready.
the building, man. So,
So,
uh, so we want to just go over a couple of questions, learn about your journey and stuff like that.
yeah.
Where you started, how did you get to where you're at? Some of the finance things and stuff like that. We're gonna move through briefly, okay?
Okay, okay. The wonderful city of DC here. And we're in Northwest DC. We're in Alexandria, Virginia, and we're in Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, Dr. Reza, everyone. Now, am I pronouncing that right? Because I
Yep, Reza is good. That's perfect.
Reza,
Yep, yep,
Dr.
yep.
Reza in the
Yes,
building, man.
yes, sir.
Okay, so how long have you been practicing, man? What tell us about the journey of getting there. Like,
Yeah.
where did you start from?
Um. uh, so the basically, it's complicated. When I first started in 2014, I um I was in a situation where I moved to Maryland because I got married and my wife lived in Maryland. So when I graduated, my wife already had a job, and so I moved to Maryland from Connecticut. And what was complicated was that I was trying to start working, but Maryland had a licensing requirement where you have to take an additional like jurisprudence, like a Maryland law test, and you couldn't start working until you get the jurisprudence test, and then but that took a few months. I would have to wait till August to take it. And so because it took so much time and I graduated in December, I had pretty much 8 months plus another month for you take the test, you get a result and stuff like that. I decided to work and get my license in Virginia because of the fact that you didn't need a law test in Virginia. You can just send in all your records, your board exam, stuff like that, and get the license a lot quicker. But what was complicated was that Maryland, you made as an associate working for someone, you make more money. And so I wanted to work in Maryland because you made more money in Maryland than you did in Virginia. Plus the fact that I lived in Maryland, so it only makes sense. And so, long story short, I went ahead and got my license in Virginia. Licensing in Virginia was like May. And so I was like, okay, well, May to August, September, it's only 4 more months. If I work somewhere in Virginia, but the problem will be that I have to commit for 1 year contract. And so because I didn't want to do that, I said, all right, why don't I just open up my own office? But I didn't have any money.
Right, and I want to get into that because
Yeah.
we're gonna skim through this real quick. I'm gonna just know the bullet points, right? This
Yeah.
balloon finance. Can you explain that to the
Right.
people real quick?
So we're skipping a long time until the balloon. This is like about almost a year after I got started. So what happened was that I went to another chiropractor. I said, "Hey, I give you a percentage because I don't have any money." He was like, "Okay." And long story short, basically he was stealing my patients as I was bringing them in because they were calling in for me and he was taking them. So
Uh-huh.
after I found out that was happening,
Mm.
I went on Craigslist and looked for a spot that I can rent for something cheap, and I found somewhere for like $200. And when I did that, I started kind of building it up. It was just like a shack, pretty much. I mean, what can you get for $200? And so I had $700 in my pocket, and with $200 a month, I got 3 months worth of um, rent money, and I got $100 to make some business cards. And so when I started this office, I hit the ground running, started advertising. And, back then it wasn't Facebook, Instagram wasn't really, Facebook was a good thing, but nobody really advertised in it. I didn't know that kind of world. And so you just did a lot of legwork. And so slowly but surely we're building it up, and then I get to a point where I'm getting somewhere that I need like a reception area. I need a waiting room because people were sitting outside my office in a hallway. It was just getting bad.
Wow.
And literally at the staircase, I put 4 chairs next to the stairs. People come up in a hallway. People are sitting down because I didn't have a waiting area, so I was trying to make it happen.
Hmm.
And so basically, I went up to my sister and I said, "Hey, she was in business back then. She was like, I said, can you help? Can you go in this with me? Buy a place. I'll rent it from you. We can kind of work together." She's like, "You know what? This is your thing. I don't want to mess with it." And I kind of understood her because not only she was thinking about from my perspective of this is my thing, but also it's a big risk. I mean, imagine her buying an office that's based on me, and if I fail,
You mess up. Yeah.
I mean, her credit going down, her this going down. I'm
Yeah.
new to the game. What do I know?
Right.
So she was like, "Okay, well, let me look for something for you." And so we started looking, and we found this little office, 700 square feet, 3 rooms, low waiting area. It was perfect for me. Um, and it said owner finance, which is balloon financing. Balloon financing basically is owner finance, and what it means is that the owner, previous owner, becomes the bank, and I become the owner. It's same situation, except they become like the bank where I'm paying them interest, but I'm responsible if anything breaks. I'm responsible for the taxes. I'm responsible for anything that happens there. Like if you own your house and the bank really truly owns it. So basically, what happened was I signed off with a 5-year commitment with them. I said, within 5 years, I'm going to pay you guys back. They said, okay, cool. So whether I have to get a loan within 5 years paying back, or I have to make the money and pay him outright. So somehow to pay him back, but within that time, I'm paying him 5% interest every month. So what was cool about it is that with taxes and 5% interest and everything, it came out to about $1,100, which was kind of good because a lot of places to get anywhere decent, rent was like $1,500, $2,000. So $1,100 is cool, but now I'm committed. Now I can't fail. This thing is under my name. I signed off on it under my personal name.
Yeah.
Because it's not a real success. It was a new business. No one's gonna let me sign off on it under a business name. That's really not. It's a beginner. It's not successful yet. Yeah, exactly.
Well, your grind, man.
So I had to put my name behind it.
Yeah.
So balloon financing, which means that if you don't pay them within the 5 years, they can take you to court and they can sue you for it. And worst case scenario, they'll take the place back from you. I mean, they could sue you and ruin your credit too, honestly. So, I mean, they ruin your credit and take the place back from you. Most places, if you think about it, I thought about it myself. I said, if anything fails, they're not going to go through the paying the, lawyers, this and that. They're probably just going to be like, give me the key, and I'll give them the key back. Hopefully they don't ruin my credit. So I was thinking about, risk factors or what a possibility, but thankfully I never got to that. So that's basically balloon financing, which helped me a lot because not only became cheaper because I only had to pay them interest plus the taxes, came out to $1,100, but I own my own place. It was mine. It was my name on it, and it was my first property. It was really cool, and so that perspective was interesting. Now, what helped me a lot with that is that I learned how to build that to get more properties. Because what happens is that with commercial properties, you can do that. And a lot of places, if they can't sell it, the owners are willing to do the owner financing kind of situation. So when I got this place, I started building credit. So basically what happens when I go to the bank within 5 years, the bank will be like, okay, well, it looks like you've been paying your taxes on time. You've been paying your interest rate on time. Nobody sue you for anything. They see that I have credibility so that when it comes down to them giving rent, it's less risky for them because they see my track record for about 5 years or so. So they're more likely to give me something that they see that I'm doing well in.
Yeah.
Plus the business going well. So when I did that, what was interesting is I'll tell you something real funny. I I was still in that $200 place. One of my patients have to be in that same building. I said, hey, I'm leaving to Alexandria. This was in Springfield. She was like, oh man, I wish I could come to Alexandria. I was like, well, I got 3 rooms. I only really need one. She was like, really? I was like, yeah. She was like, okay, how much you want to give me rent for rent it out for me? So to be honest with you, my mortgage with the 5% interest and the taxes came out to 1050, not 1100. I would tell you where the 1100 came from. So it's 1050. So I said to her, I'm Middle Eastern. So if somebody tell me like what is
How
it?
much they want, right? How much you want?
I thought we're haggling here, okay?
Yeah.
So, but Americans don't really do that. So I said 1100, and she said, "Oh, that's not bad. Okay." I said, "Okay." So now I got the place. I have my own space. I got the biggest room in there, and I have her. And not only she's paying my mortgage, the taxes, everything, and I'm making $50. And I'm making $50. And I was just, did this just happen to me? Did I just? I was waiting for her to. I was willing to go down to like 700, 800. Because I'm still in it.
Right.
So she was just. I was like, okay,
unbelievable.
Okay,
amazing, man.
Yeah, that was one of my big breaks when that happened, and she was a nice lady, and we worked it out, and so we went through it. Now, as I'm building up this place, it's building up slowly. We're getting there. I realized like my 6 months, 6 months so passed, my student loans kicked in. I needed more money than I was making from my office. So I started working somewhere else part-time. So I was working at this place called in California, Maryland, which is it's actually technically Solomon Island I was in, which is near California, Maryland. It's about an hour and a half from my house, and it's an hour and a half from my Alexandria office. So I would drive an hour and a half to over there to work till 7 p.m. So I get there 9 a.m. I work till 7 p.m. I leave at 7 p.m. I get to my office at 8:30 p.m. and I work from 8:30 p.m. till midnight. And I get home at 1 a.m. And I did this routinely every week until I kind of build it up. So people would come in midnight. Believe me. Whoa. And a lot of people appreciate it. They were like, I'm working all day. I got to come after 8,
Wow.
So some people actually needed that. So long story short, there's so many different angles here. And I think I want to keep it where I think you want to talk about business related aspects of it rather than how to practice. But so once I learned what is balloon financing, it helped me take it to the next level, because what happened was now I needed a bigger space. Now either they needed to move out or I needed to move out. And the place next door to me, 1,300 square feet, opened up. It was on sale for a little bit. It was on rent for a little bit. They couldn't rent it out because it was too small for a big company and it was too big for a small company. And it was still a little bit too big for me, but I knew I could grow into it because now I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rooms inside, offices within it. So it was a lot. It was way too big. I needed like 3, but now I'm getting 6. So there was definitely room to grow into it. So what happened was I called them up. I said, look, looks like you can't rent it out, sell it. I said, I'll buy it from you. They were like, oh, okay. I said, do you do balloon financing? They were like, what is that? I said, listen, I've been doing it right here. I'm right next door to you. It works. I want the place for such and such amount. And I told them, I'll take it for first year. I'll do 4% interest. After that, I'll give you 5%. And they were like, okay. So we kind of went back and forth. We agreed to the terms. And I told them I want 9-year because it was double the price of the other office. So I said, I want 9 years of just as a back. They were like, okay. So I got the place balloon financing. So I went up to the other lady. I said, listen, I'm moving out. Do you want the extra room? And she said, yes. I was like, all right, give me another 200. I was like, okay. She was like, okay. So now she gave me Yeah. So now she's giving me $13.50, and I get another $250 profit margin from that place, and I'm putting it towards the nude spot. So the new spot cost me 1,600 minus 250, so I'm paying like 1,400 or something like that, and I have 2 offices now for that. You see what I'm saying?
Man,
I got 2 locations, 2 offices, and I'm only paying $1,400 technically for both of them out of
am-
pocket.
amazing, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, that grind, your
yeah,
grind is something else, man.
hmm yeah.
For real, man. Your experience at Fox 5, man. How was that, man?
So it was really good. Fox Five was interesting. I have a lot of clientele who, within celebrities, influencers, TV personalities, and stuff like that, come to me. And I had my man Rob Desert come to me, and he'd been couple for a while and stuff like that. I was like, Rob, you got, October is Chiropractic Health Month. Can you get me in? Talk about it. He's like, let me send an email to a producer. So the producer accepts. They gave me 2 sessions, where one at 8:30, one at 9:40, something like that, 9:30. And so I did those 2 sessions. They loved it. As I'm leaving, they emailed me. They were like, the producers love the sessions you did. Can you come every month? I'm going
Whoa,
every month on a regular on TV, talk to them about different matters every month.
amazing,
So
man.
I did a couple of sessions. As I come out, they loved it. I made it really interactive. You guys can search, Dr. Reza Chiropractor, Foxfire. You'll see they have published it. And so as I come out, they asked me to come back November, which I went. They asked me to come back December. I'm going. And then as I'm going there, I had another news agency just yesterday hit me up. It's another local one, DC News and something. I forgot. Channel 6, I believe,
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that.
Oh,
DC News Network. And so they hit me up. So I'm going to be going there Monday. So these things, one builds another. They see me on TV here. So it kind of grows around. So, that stuff that happened recently. But what's cool about Fox 5 is that they had me on one time. They asked me to come every month. So now I'm going to be on regular. Let's see where it goes. And who knows what happens from there. Maybe one day they give me a show. They'll be like, hey, maybe you can have your own show. And that'd
your
be,
own segment. How about that, man?
yeah, man, we'll see. You can only
Yeah,
dream.
man.
Find out.
So, a chiropractor, you call yourself a chiropractor, but you name yourself a doctor. Is it synonymous?
Yes. So, I mean, it's a doctor degree. So, a doctor doesn't mean you're a medical doctor. It means you have a doctorate. You can have a PhD, right? You can be a dentist. Dentists are doctors,
Right?
are they?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? They have a doctorate in dental science. I have a doctorate in chiropractic. So, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, which means I deal with the spine mainly. So it's a different doctor. It's a different school. Podiatrists are doctors. They go to foot doctors.
Mhm.
They're foot doctors. They don't go to medical school per se. It's a podiatry um, school. So that's what it is. So if people are thinking is call himself a doctor because he's a medical doctor, no. But
Right.
I have a doctorate in chiropractic medicine, and that's what my
Now, in this field, can you teach yourself how to do it? I know your, I know your TikTok videos when you're looking at videos and
yeah.
they just doing all types of stuff. Is
Yeah.
it possible to teach yourself to do this?
So, it's complicated from a perspective of people just looking at it. I mean, anybody can crack anything. I mean, if you want, you go to the doctor and he says, "Oh, looks like hey, just take muscle relaxers and painkillers." Can you teach yourself to do? You could have the next time you have that same symptom, you can be like, "Yeah, I'll just take muscle relaxer painkiller. I can go take an Advil." It's not about knowing how. So, for example, can I crack my neck right now? Yeah, I gotta take my jaw and I gotta pop it, right? But what happens if I do it this way? If I do it this way, I'm gonna pull my jaw, right? And that's how you're doing it wrong. And then so there's 7 vertebrae. Let's say one is stuck. If one is stuck and you're manipulating all of them, then you're gonna make the other ones worse. Chiropractic school is 4 years long. if it was a YouTube video away, I wouldn't pay $200,000. You see where I'm going with that?
A YouTube video away.
So you have to be licensed to work as a chiropractor. You have to have malpractice insurance. You have to have a licensing from a medical board. In Virginia, it's from the Board of Medicine, and every state is regulated. Um, and so you have to go. To be a chiropractor, you have to go through 4 years of undergrad. You have to have a pre-med requirements. You have to have 4 years of chiropractic school. So that's 8 years by itself, and then you can stand for licensing. And once you get your license, then you can start work.
Yeah, so everybody don't be walking around with a massage gun talking about I am charging for massages now.
Yeah. So the thing is that chiropractic and massage are different. So if you're working on, you have a knot in your thing, sure, you can get the knot out. But let's say your spine is crooked, it's like locked. Let's say I'm saying like this, right? You have a lot of tension here. You massage gun it. You go to masseuse, the loosening. I bet you feel good. But what happens? You're crooked, so the pain is going to keep coming back.
Wow.
If you don't actually fix the issue of the problem, let's say, how do you know one of your leg is not shorter than the other side? If one of your leg is shorter than the other side, and that's throwing off your shoulder, for example, then all you're going to do is keep massaging that shoulder. It's never going to get better. You have to fix your structure. It's like there's a crack on your wall, but your floor is crooked. You can't just fix the wall, leave your floor crooked. You have to fix the floor and the wall, right? So it's complicated. It's complicated. If it was like that, then I'd be out of business. I wouldn't see 700 patients a week.
Yeah. So when people crack their hands and their neck, is it fair to do that, or they shouldn't do that?
So there's a couple of things. If you do anything excessively, it's too much is bad for you. So people that are cracking their fingers all the time, they probably should do it every day. And so if you do anything every day, constantly, to do it 2-3 times a day, you can injure your joints. You can cause laxity in your joints. If you do it to your neck every day, it's gonna not only again, apples are good for you, but you eat too many is bad for you. There's a required amount that your body can handle in a week. There's specific way of doing it. So for example, for your fingers, most people go like this, but in fact, you're supposed to pull it.
Supposed to pull it?
You're supposed to pull it. And because you decut, but if you keep doing this, you're gonna keep stretching out these muscles inwards. So there's called laxity.
Wow.
Right. So it's complicated. Your neck is on a different plane level than your upper back, and it's different plane level. Your joints move differently than you do your low back. So all these joints, vertebrae move in a different way, different plane field, different angles. But if you don't take them within the right angle, you can injure that joint.
I have a friend of mine. I was going to come in and let him ask you a question. He has a spondylitis. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah.
What is there something that, as a chiropractor, could recommend for someone that?
So one of the main things I would say, chiropractic adjustments, making sure your back is moving. So basically, the spine is inflamed. It can get worse too. These things we have to take a look at. Why did he get this in the first place? Is again one leg short on the other side. Does he have core strengthening exercise he needs to do? We need to see if he's stuck. His back is not moving properly. We have to open up the joints. We need to make sure what does his ergonomics looks like. What does it look like in front of the computers? And what his job is. Just depends on many different factors. We have to correct that because it's not all about what are you gonna do. What is he gonna do? He's gonna go over there, get an injection. Well, you either got to take pills, they give you the injection, or they give you surgery. So, well, what happens, okay, you get an injection. All right, well, is that going to fix the problem? He's going to go back and sit in front of a computer like this.
Right.
Okay, so it's the different aspects of it. You have to make sure you do it correctly. It's not all about doing injections and stuff like that. You have to fix the issue and then fix the reason why he had it in the first place. We have to look into ergonomics. How is he sleeping at night? Proper alignment. Strengthening exercises, core strengthening, things of that nature.
Wow, man. I'm going to definitely pass this information to you.
Yeah, definitely. So it's
he's down bad, Doc. I'm telling you, he can't. Yeah. He's walking I mean, it's crazy.
Has he been to any other doctors yet?
I think so, and that's when he found out that that was the name of the
Right.
disease.
And he still has the pain. So what had that done for him?
Nothing. I think they gave him that option of the injection and all
Yeah.
that stuff, but I don't think he wants to go through that.
Right. I mean, it doesn't. Most of the time, often this doesn't help anyway.
Yeah. So staying number one as a chiropractor, man, how do you do it? How do you set yourself aside from others, man? Other YouTube chiropractors on there. How do you do it?
So I think one of the main factors is that I make sure that in my craft, I'm always striving to learn to do my work better all the time. I take courses constantly. You know, we have to take continuing education courses to even license for licensing purposes. I make sure that word of mouth is huge too. I make sure all my patients are happy. You know what I mean? I make sure my staff is happy because my staff is also key to my success. If they're not happy, then my business doesn't do well. So it's not about the patients, not about what's going on YouTube and stuff like that. There's an internal disorder within any business that also needs to be on point. So the staff have to be happy. I got to make sure if that's going well, then the patients will also be happy. And the patients go well, word of mouth go happen. Everybody be happy. We're taking videos, we post them in the world. We'll see how this business is functioning, and then you just kind of keep up from there.
Um, does does your visits acquire insurance? Like if I had insurance, the different types of insurance, or how does the visit procedure go?
So, great question. Most chiropractic offices, they take insurance. Me particularly, I'm out of network with all insurances. First visit is $300. After that, it goes down to $60 a visit.
Now is our time to put you, Dr. Reza, in a hot box.
The Hot Box.
Okay, so these questions you have to answer as quick as you can. Some questions we will review them and just talk about them a little bit, okay? But
Okay.
these questions is for you to reflect within yourself and to also be honest, okay?
Okay.
What is the purpose of a man?
Of a man? Ooh, okay. I think that I think one of the main purpose of a man for me is to provide. Is to provide for my family and my staff. And I think if you're a business owner, um, because I mean that if I take that purpose, then I think from many different aspects, um, it would complete different tasks I have, whether it's my kids, my wife, my office, but providing and being responsible for the people that I'm sort of counting on me.
Is love an emotion?
I think love is the strongest emotion. I think love is the most powerful emotion. Um, and I think men and women show love differently. And I think men show love through providing. And that's my answer there.
Do you consider yourself an alpha or beta male?
I consider myself overall alpha, but there are certain things that I don't include I don't where I know I'm strongest, my suit strongest, I'm alpha. Where I know that I don't do things well, like at home, there are certain things I don't deal with. My wife, I just if it has to do with sort of my kids, like what clothes they wear, where they going, and what classes they should be taking, whether it's like swimming, this and this and that. I don't get involved with that. My wife is the key role for that. But with certain things um, that I think that men have their own part in it. I don't think I should be an alpha in every situation. I think I need to be a real alpha, you need to learn how to delegate and know your role to be more successful. Because if I start messing with things that I don't know too much about, then I'm just going to ruin it. So it just depends on the scenario.
When you mentioned that you're married, are you the head of your wife?
Um, so I think that we have respect for each other. Um, I don't think, I think that nobody tells the other one what to do per se. Nobody rules over the other one. I think we definitely have arguments where we talk about things where we like, don't do this or do this way, and if it just made sense, it just makes sense. You don't have to force someone. So nobody forcing anybody what to do. But if there's something I don't agree with she's doing, I just tell her like da, 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 and she agrees with me if it makes sense, and vice versa. There's a lot of things I want to do that she holds me back on, and I listen to her. It just made sense. I hold back. So I don't think I rule over her, but I'm definitely the alpha of the household for sure. I mean, I think men have a responsibility and a home that there needs to be certain things, especially with kids, especially if you have boys in the house. I think if you have boys in the house, they need a woman. A boy definitely needs a masculine figure in the house. It's hard when the woman, single mother, has to become that masculine person because women are not generally made for to be mostly masculine. They're mostly feminine. They could have masculinity within them, and they could show that emotion if they have to. But men are made for that masculinity, so it's a lot easier for a man to be more masculine typically than a woman, is my belief. So, with that said, I would say that yeah, mainly but there's mutual respect though between me and my wife. There's
Yeah,
not one of those things.
yeah. I don't want in a situation when you're married, if something happened to the kids, and is your wife a stay home? She stay home.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. That's the dream. It's everyone's dream, man. But
Yes. My wife is happy to be like that too. So it's
yeah,
not
that's
no.
great, man. Most women aren't. They try to come out and compete with the man and try to work as hard and get stressed out. Let the job stress them out. They come home and stress you out. They can't turn it off. So that's great, man. That you're in that position, man. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Man. Yeah, man. More success to your marriage, man.
Appreciate it.
Is the Earth flat?
No. Nope. Nope. It's round. It's round.
Your impression of Joe Biden?
Oh my God. What are we going to politics, my man? um, I think that Joe Biden. Well, I'm definitely not a denier, but he's the president. There's some good and some bad with every president.
Yeah.
I think that with certain things I don't agree. I didn't like the way he got out of Afghanistan. I didn't agree with certain things that he's doing, but well, that's why we have elections. Everybody votes and figures it out. But um, there's some things that he's going through with the economy, and I don't know what's going on with that right now. It's pretty bad, and people laying off left and right. So he needs to figure that out. But I try not to get involved with politics with that. But there's some good stuff with him too. I like that how he is more open to um, minorities and giving minorities a shot, um, such as the Supreme Court first black woman to be on the Supreme Court and stuff like that. That was nice, and I thought she was very deserving. Um, and so I think there's, that's why we have in America. That's why we have some Democrats, some Republicans. That's how we sort of stay in the middle because the left is going to go this way, the right's going to go this way, and if every 4 to 8 years it switches up, it always tend to go in the middle. But there's conspiracies that who knows who's controlling who and what's even going on and who's even in charge. So who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that lady that got to the Supreme Court, I mean I don't think that was a good move.
Yeah,
But hey. But I did want to ask you about the borders. Do you support open borders?
I support. No, I mean it doesn't make. I mean I don't know what open borders like. What are you gonna just let everybody in? I think that there needs to be a system where people can get in. I'm an immigrant. I came in legally. I waited turns. I waited my turn, and I came in legally.
Did the
So
right way. Yep.
I didn't come out through the border out of nowhere, but I think they should come to the border crossing, put their names in, and there should be a system. We have asylums for a reason. We have, but we can't just sneak into the country. I don't know if sneaking into the country would be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point, man. That's a great point, and I'm
Mhm.
glad you're being honest about it. So, um, is it surprising to see human beings treat each other the way they do these days?
I think that human beings treat each other well when it's one on one, when it's point of contact overall. I think that overall, okay, I'll put it like this: overall, there's more being good done good than bad. But when it comes to computers and being behind your screen, people are definitely a lot meaner. But when it comes to everyday point of contact, anybody I talk to in the street, hi, how are you? They'll say hi, how are you back? If I need to help somebody, will help me out here. I think overall people are good. I mean, there's a lot of crime going on. There's a lot of problems there, um, and that needs to be dealt with. But I think overall, Americans do treat are the kindest, and they do treat each other well overall. But I think that there's the crime is an issue that needs to be dealt with, and they need to find proper policing, more professional policing, and they need to increase more professional policing.
But it seems like as for the blacks, right?
Mhm.
Right after slavery, right? They were
Mhm.
doing great. I mean, right after slavery, they were doing great. But they were getting married, building families, creating things. But it seems like it switched off. What do you think happened?
You know, there's some research says that I think the educational system definitely is a problem, but I think the reason education system is a bad problem is because the parents are not are not putting emphasis in education. I came from a third world country. I came very poor,
Mm.
and but my parents said school, 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 and I said okay, 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 and it was a big deal to go to school. I had to go to school. I had to get A's. I had to. It was if you look at the Japanese culture and the Asian culture and the Middle East culture, school is a big deal. Over there, in America, your doctor is cool. Over there is a very big deal. In the Middle East, you're a doctor. Like, wow, that's like I walk in like I'm a god over. It's they put another emphasis over here. They put that emphasis on basketball players. You see what I'm saying? Basketball players don't get it like that. Like get it in Iran. In Iran, an engineer gets it like he's a celebrity on TV. Just a regular engineer. You
Wow,
know,
amazing.
oh, yeah, there's a lot of respect,
Mm.
and so what happens when something has a lot of respect behind it? More people want to be like him. But it's a lot harder to be a NBA player because there's only so many spots than there is to be an engineer. So if more people can be engineered, though, now you have so many engineers and doctors in Iran, you don't even know what to do with. Some don't even have jobs because the economy is just bad because of all the sanctions. Anyway, that's another story. But there's so many doctors and engineers, they don't know what to do with it. Okay. And over here, we're lacking, and all we're doing is bringing people in because our own education system is not providing, is not producing that. And so that's the thing. So when the society in this society, being a basketball player, being a sport person is a bigger deal than being a doctor and engineer.
Yeah.
And so that's why the society is not at that level. So and it's not just the black people, Hispanics, and then it's getting into different cultures as well, where maybe different cultures are just kind of ruining, as people are here a long time, over generations, it's diminishing the emphasis on education. But if the parents, it first starts, I believe it first starts in the household.
It really does, and
Yeah,
that's where the lack of parenting is at in the black community. They're like
right,
70 something percent of single born into single homes.
right,
So
right.
that's what this platform is about. Like your story is about the grind, starting from, because most blacks think, oh, just because they're black, they have less opportunity or a way to get to things. When you, on the other hand, come from the other side of the world, and you grind and you
Mm.
did what you had to do, and look where you're at now. And I wanted to highlight someone who doesn't do that, man, and did what they had to do, toes down, and became successful as an individual.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that I personally don't like to blame the others, but I think that there needs to be a balance on opportunity, and I think the opportunity is always there. You just have to reach for it.
There really are. There's no bubble out there. The opportunities are always there. It's just the lack of
But
character.
the system has made it so that now there's a lot of single parents, and that single mother has to go to work. So how can they, watch over the kids and go to work full time? They get tired and they can't educate the kids to put the emphasis on certain things, and they just send them to school, and the school's just kind of almost giving up on them, and it becomes a vicious cycle, and so that it just gets worse from there. So it's a problem. I think that we need to bring the two parent home back into a reality. I think too
Yes,
many single, but it's not easy to raise a child by yourself. It's very, very difficult. You need a
yeah,
lot of help. And so if you're lacking from help, then you're not going to put the emphasis on the child. So something's going to have to give.
yeah,
And if the child is the one taking the hit because they need to make money, and the child is just going to be born with not knowing certain things, and then the system is going to take advantage of them and just going to take them over, it'll be a wash again and a new round of problems.
excellent, man. Wow, man, amazing, man. You grew up with both parents, right?
Yeah, yep, yeah, I did. Well, I mean, my dad died when I was 18, but by the time he passed away, I already went to college. So I did my growing up with him. So I had two parents while I was growing at my essential times.
Yeah, you can really see that, and it's amazing to understand to see that,
Yes,
especially out here.
I was very fortunate. Yes.
Yeah. The last question, man. I have actually two more questions. Do you support abortion?
What we going through this, man? I thought we were talking about medical stuff.
No, you in the hot box, baby. Two more questions. Do you support abortion?
I live in DC, homie.
Me too. Okay, look, we're gonna save that one, okay?
All right, all right.
Okay, last question. How do you see yourself?
Oh, that's a really good one. I see. How do I see myself? I see myself as someone fortunate enough to figure out my talent and I'm just trying to live my life through that. And I think that I have a gift to help with healing, and I'm just trying to, at the moment where I'm at in my life, I'm 35, trying to raise a family. I'm sure my perspective of myself will change as I grow, but at the moment, I see myself as a provider, and I see myself as a businessman, and a doctor. So there's three aspects of myself, and I'm trying to use my talent to grow every portion of my aspect that I am right now. A provider from family, a businessman, and a doctor, because those are three different things.
Amazing, man. Did you have fun?
It was great. It was great. You definitely put me on the hot box for sure. Trying to.
Dr. Reza is here now.
Very much for coming through. I really appreciate your time. Even though we went over, man, I really appreciate your patience for being here. And man, look, keep doing your thing, man. People are watching you from everywhere, all around the world, man.
Appreciate
all around the world, baby. All around the world.
Sir, working on it, working on growing.
Yes, indeed, man. And you want to leave your Instagram and whatever you want to leave for the people.
My favorite doctor at my_favorite_doctor. You can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. That's it. Just DM us. We'll respond.
We sure will, man.
All right.
And this is for all the haters out there.
Ass motherfuckers be showing all that fake ass love. Keep that shit away from me. Keep that fake ass shit away from me, nigga. Before I explode.